M thinks her kids should play with my $1,500 PC. Info: I recently bought this PC that cost about $1,500, without counting the monitors and other stuff, and I was very delicate with it. My grandma's birthday was approaching, and since my family and my grandma live in the same city, all the other family members traveled to visit. I love my cousin except one group. These kids are spoiled. Their mother doesn't care about them, so they developed into bratty and annoying kids. One is about 11, the oldest, and she is the least annoying, but she doesn't care about what other people think and always does what she wants. The middle kid is about 8 and he is a crybaby. If we don't let him see our phones or let him play with them, he goes to cry to his or my parents. And the third one, about 4 or 5, is always making fun and picking on the middle kid. He also breaks many toys and is a snitch himself. On to the story. I was chilling in my house playing some CS when I hear the door. I hoped it was the good cousins, but it was the trio. In the beginning, we were in the living room talking and telling stories, but after a while, they went deeper in the house, my room. First, they annoyed my little bro with his Nintendo Switch. After a while though, they got bored and went into my room. The first to walk in was the small kid. He immediately sat on my desk that is next to my desk and started watching me play. He asked to play, but I said no, as it was too hard for him and he would die. Then the middle kid walked and the old one stayed talking with the parents, and they started arguing over who was going to play first. After a couple of matches they started saying it was their turn, and when I refused they started picking on each other for fun. At one point the young one punched the big one, who fell onto my PC's tower and knocked it over. It was very heavy. They got scared and went to tell their parents. The PC was fine, not even a scratch, but then they made up a story about me picking on them and not letting them play and had to let them play. The mother screamed at me in front of my parents and told me if I made her baby sad again she would make sure my computer disappears. At one point the small kid was playing and got so mad after dying that he punched my keyboard, knocking a piece off. This was a $30 keyboard, so got mad, and the mother told me off for being a snitch when I told my parents. They eventually left and I now have to play with a keyboard with a key sunk lower than the rest. It's mechanical, so they are higher than normal keyboards. I told my mom to buy a lock for my room and she agreed, so next time they ain't even coming in. Edit: Jesus, this blew up. Thanks for the awards and upvotes.
I'm trying to buy my new console for less of what it costed and says I stole it from her. I am going to be as quick as possible with this history, and sorry if my grammar it's wrong since English it's not my native language. This happened on Monday 23. I saved for months so I could buy a new console, and as most of you know, thanks for the pandemic it's almost impossible to find a new console, Xbox or PS5, since those were shipped in limited quantities. In my country I couldn't find any, so after not being able to get mine on internet I decided to try my best to find one in a mall. After days I went to the closest mall and asked for a Xbox Series S, is cheaper, and they had one on stock, so I was lucky enough to get there on time. I had to ask to the worker since I couldn't find any on shelves. While the guy who was working there went to get the console, a lady was right behind me with the small kid. After the worker came back with the console and I was heading to the cashier, I was on electronics, but in this mall is a small separate part from the cashier, so I had to take it and pay on there. The lady asks for the same console as I have. The worker told her they didn't have any more until December, and she started to run where I was, and here everything started. Lady: excuse me? Me: yes? How can I help you? Lady: it seems you have the last game. Me: yes, it seems like it, sorry. Lady: you see, my son wants that console too, so I was wondering if you could sell me your game. Me: no, sorry, I saved a lot to get this one, I can't just give it to you. Lady: you don't lose nothing by selling me that. I'll give you 800.00 pesos, those are like $200, and the console cost me $300. Me: no, sorry, this console was more expensive than 800.000 pesos, and as I told you I can't just give you this console. lady, you can just buy one later. Why are you being this selfish? Me, clearly mad and bored with this. I am sorry lady, I can't. After this she just started to go away without saying nothing, and I thought I could go home already. After heading to the exit, the security guards stopped me and the lady was there. Guard, we are going to need you give this lady her console. I didn't get it at first, but apparently I'm told the guards I stole her son's console after they buy it. Me, it's my console. Look, I proceed to show the guards the receipt and told them the cashier where I was. After telling them, the lady just started to go outside getting to the parking lot. She ignored the call of the guards and just disappeared from the exit. After I explained to the guards everything and more time making sure I did bought it, I was free to go, and I swear I saw Em outside of the parking lot waiting outside of her car. I decided to use another entrance, exit and headed home, and here it is safe and sound.
Backstory: my mother has had a difficult time showing respect to my brother and seems to hate him for no particular reason. After instigating and trying to punch him back in October, she was met to him trying to subdue her and accidentally breaking her arm because she has weak bones and possibly undiagnosed osteopenia. On to the main story. Since my mom has a hard time working with her new iPhone 11, she needed help getting to the keypad to dial 911, so she called me to her room from mine. She wanted to call police because she didn't want to have my brother hurt her again, because he's in football and actively worked out because of COVID. So he is stronger than her by far, and I am as well, since she has trouble even lifting more than 5 pounds with both arms before one was broken. She called police earlier today because she didn't want him to return home, but they didn't offer any help because there is no law stating you can restrict a minor from entering their place of residence. He and I are 16, 17 on Friday, so still minors. She called police so no conflict will arise again in the house, but right after my brother got home from being with his friends, she instigated him once again, wanting to kick him out of the house, yelling at him for no rational reason. Not the smartest thing to do when it just snowed outside today here in Michigan and will have more snow later this week. During the conversation with the operator, she easily sounded drunk and actually was drunk, as I saw a bottle of open vodka on her dresser, saying the most generic desperate mother stuff, saying she's a single mother and all that. The moment she pressed call on her phone, I recorded the entire conversation via voice memos on my iPhone. If enough people ask, I can see if I can put it in the comments. Update: as of the next morning, I did not expect to get this much attention and even get top of hot. Thanks for his support and advice I can use later down the line. Another edit: it's hard getting police on your side when they're biased and favor the female side with the benefit of the doubt. Another edit again: my dad isn't mentioned in this because he had passed away nearly 3 years ago from cancer.